Hello there, Tutor Edner Suarez. My name is Mari.castillo, and this is the video to explain my proposal done in the practical assignment 2. I'm going to start explaining and saying the research problem and the research question. The problem raised for this activity is the lack of attention to learn the rules of English in primary school students. With a very fragile population, in this case, it will be the elementary students of the Rafael Méndez Tamayo. For which a solution of managing the tools of technology for the benefit of teaching in English. And the research question is, how could the teachers apply a teaching technique for a school language of the students of the primary levels of the Rafael Méndez Tamayo School through educational software? And talking about the line of research, I choose the mediated pedagogies because it investigates possible relationship between education and technology and establish the articulators access, pedagogical and technical. It explores the dynamics of learning processes in distance education to learn strategies and training methodologies in the educational art. And the last one is because it analyzes the conceptual implication in education as a result of the emerging advancement of information and communication technology. I think so when the explication or the justification for this to choose this line of research is because when a student doesn't receive adequate attention and resource of education, he hardly performs successful learning. This means that students need an education that includes motivation and also captures their attention. Wanting to learn English, and the best option for this is the use of technical tools. Talking about the problem statement, is the Rafael Méndez Tamayo School is an educational institution located in Garzonhuila. This institution has an English room with about 9 or 10 computers. There are 2 English teachers and approximately 500 students, but their teachers don't use any technological tools such as, for example, web page, blogs, emails, neither wikis, and in many moments they prefer to teach in traditional form, for example, using copies or only books and class material prepared by them. The English room has an internet connection, and it was installed 2 years ago. So I think so the teachers don't have excuses to use technological tools. The justification is teaching a new language required, among other factors, strategies and resources that support that language learning process and present it as a useful and necessary tool for life. Profession and fully convinced that their work is essential for an educational development of each student and person. This project focuses on the beginning of the foreign language learning, familiarizing primary school children with the English language, starting with basic vocabulary, pronunciation, and the association of phonetics with the images or object graphics. I think so if the teachers use this, is better to teach and better to learn from the students too. Continue with the objective. The general objective is the objective of this research is to work on the interest in learning the second language of primary students through educational software, that allows them to consolidate knowledge in vocabulary and basic structures of language primary school children, Rafael Méndez Tamayo, and at the same time contribute to a modern educational plan. The specific objectives, I wrote 4 specific objectives. They are make available the technological equipment correctly and make positive changes in current teaching techniques in different primary areas of study. The second one is awaken children's interest by appropriating a second language, training students in the management of ICT, English educational software, and the last one is to create educational and technological activities that stimulate interest in the teaching of English. The next one is I am talking about the theoretical background. I choose 2 theories, and I choose the integration of ICT to the teaching process learning of the students of Maria Alfaro de Espino, and the TIC as facilitating tools in pedagogical management. They are talking about the importance nowadays to use technological resources. So it is important because it's easier. It makes easier the learning of the students, and it's easier for the teachers too, because it's better to teach with technological tools, because I think so the teacher to improve different strategies. The last one is the literature review, tools for research of ICTs, case studies by Julio Ruiz Palmero, the constructive model and the new technologies applied to the learning process by Stephanie Hernandez Requena, new technologies as tools that facilitate educational training in education by Joshua Hedo Ruiz and Ignacio Dávila del Valle. I wrote the references in the last page, so I could explain everything about how I take this proposal. The next one is the research paradigm and the research approach. The research paradigm is the socio-critical paradigm. I choose the socio-critical paradigm because it is the closest way to find a scientific analysis. I identify a problem and find a solution, as it has a number of qualities that will enrich our analysis in the research and help us find a more viable solution. I think it is the most innovative and practical way to do something new, and that surely will leave many teaching to our children of the future. And the research approach is qualitative approach, and it is for this and more reasons that I think that the quantitative approach is the one that best fits my research, since what I have been saying through the research study what I want to achieve is to be able to know my population and himself for their needs. And this is facilitated if we manage a paradigm and approach related to the situation. And better than these, which are based on the scientific method and the most common research theory in the world. Talking about explanatory research, this is the type of study. Explanatory studies are intended to lead to a sense of understanding of a phenomenon. They point to the causes of physical or social events, therefore they are oriented to the verification of causal hypotheses of third degree. That is, identification and analysis of the causals, independent variables, and the results, which are expressed in variable facts, depend. This is the depend variables. Studies of this type involve research effort and a great capacity for analysis, synthesis, and interpretation. It should also state the reasons why the study can be considered explanatory. Its realization supposes the spirit contributing to the development of scientific knowledge. Talking about the population and the instruments, is the population that I use for my research is the elementary school children of the Rafael Méndez Tamayo, as they are children with a very low level of English and the same with few teaching opportunities. This community live a very difficult daily life, since they are families that, apart from not having many resources, have coexistence where mistreatment, discrimination, little communication, and little understanding govern. About the instruments, logically, the instrument that leads this research is the technology, since, as explained through the process, this is the one that will return the interest to children to learn and do it through different tools found in the internet, whether blogs, surveys, videos, etc. But really, the goal of we want to achieve is for the government to supply us with this tool, because we don't have it, and it at the moment with these cases we are indispensable. The last one the last slide is I wrote everything about the references where I took the information for this investigation, and I think so this investigation is complete and it's clear, because it's a modern topic. I think so in almost schools of elementary, it's happened the same problem, because we have many traditional teachers, yet so they don't want to know that now the education is different. So we have to do and to take and to investigate and to get new strategies to teach, and of course to say another teachers that they must use it too. It was my proposal. I hope it is okay, and I hope, of course, it is clear also. It is clear too. Excuse me. Thank you so much, Tutor Erne. And I have to say just bye-bye, and thank you so much.